In Desert and Wilderness, Henryk Sienkiewicz. Chapter 5. For the next few days there were no excursions. But on Christmas Eve, when the first star appeared in the sky, a tree for Nell shone in Mr. Rawlinson's tent with hundreds of candles. The Christmas tree was, in fact, a thuja cut in one of the El Medan gardens. Yet Nell found among its branches many sweets and a beautiful doll brought from Cairo by her father, while Stas received his long-desired English rifle. He also got cartridges, hunting accessories, and a saddle for horseback riding. Nell was beside herself with joy, while Stas, though he believed that anyone with a real rifle should act with due seriousness, could not contain his excitement. Choosing a moment when no one was around the tent, he walked on his hands all the way around it. It was a trick he had mastered perfectly at school in Port Said, often amusing Nell, who sincerely envied him the skill. Christmas Eve and Christmas Day passed for the children partly at church and partly examining their gifts and training Saba. The new friend turned out to be clever beyond all expectations. On the very first day he learned to give his paw fetch handkerchiefs, though he never surrendered them easily, and understood that licking Nell's face was unworthy of a gentlemanly dog. Nell, holding her finger on her nose, taught him various lessons, while he wagged his tail attentively, showing he listened and took her words to heart. During walks on the town's sandy square, Saba's fame in Medinet grew by the hour, and like all fame, had its drawbacks. Crowds of Arab children began gathering around, at first from afar, but soon emboldened by the beast's gentleness, they surrounded the tents, making free movement impossible. The Arab boys shouted and gestured wildly, hoping to provoke the dog into chasing them. Yet Saba only looked at them with disdain. Once, however, when one of the bolder boys threw a stone at Nell, Saba leaped forward like lightning. The children scattered in terror, and it was only Star's firm command that stopped the dog from catching the culprit. From that day, the crowd kept a respectful distance from the tent. Meanwhile, the days passed quietly and happily. Mr. Rawlinson and Mr. Tukovsky often talked in the evenings about work and politics, while the children listened to stories about Africa's deserts and distant lands. Stas dreamed of heroic adventures, of defending someone weaker, of being tested like a true man. Nell, listening silently, watched her friend with admiration and trust. In Medinet, the European colony lived peacefully, unaware of the coming storm. News from Khartoum was rare and uncertain. Rumors of Mahdist's uprising reached the town, but most dismissed them as distant troubles. The heat during the day was heavy, and the nights were full of stars. Each evening, Staś and Nel walked with Saba to the palm groves, watching the setting sun turn the desert gold. But beneath this calm, danger was slowly growing. Mahdist forces were advancing north, spreading rebellion among the tribes. Star's father had received secret telegrams warning of unrest, yet no one in Medinet could imagine that this quiet town would soon face such peril. The peace of their world was about to shatter forever. On the last evening of their stay in Medinet, Staś and Nel sat before their tent watching the glowing horizon. Saba lay beside them, his head resting on his paws. "Staś," whispered Nel, "do you think we'll always be so happy?" Staś smiled but said nothing. The boy's heart was strong and brave, yet somewhere deep within he sensed a shadow, a warning that something was drawing near. That night, as the camp slept, the desert wind rose. It carried with it distant, muffled sounds, drums, voices, and the echo of hooves. The guards by the river thought it was only the wind, but in the darkness, shapes moved silently among the dunes. The Mahdists were on the march. At dawn, when the first light touched the tents, a sudden shout broke the calm. Horses neighed and shots rang out. Staś jumped from his bed. Saba barked furiously. Nel screamed. The nightmare had begun. Their peaceful world was gone in a single moment. Stas ran to his father's tent, but the soldiers were already fighting. Flames lit the sky, and the roar of chaos filled the camp. This was the beginning of the children's great journey through the desert and the wilderness, through fear, courage, and friendship. The moment that would change their lives forever had come. End of chapter 5.